This is ABC7 News at 7, your SUNCOAST News. We're here for you.
I think it's okay for us to put in some guidelines and some criteria that they have to meet. Even if that bar is really high, let's get the best of the best coming into our country and contributing to our society.
President Trump plans to cut legal immigration. How and should he cut it in half by 2027? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the president's plan to cut legal immigration in a moment. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. The nation is focused on the disaster in Houston, but we begin tonight with the flooding right here on the SUNCOAST. Dozens of residents in the Central Lake community in the Whitfield Avenue area were forced to evacuate after days of heavy rain flooded their streets. The water has receded and families are starting to return to find their homes, furniture and cars ruined.
It's not going to be very safe here. Next flood or next rain, I'm going to sit and freak out, you know.
Residents are looking for the city or the county to step up and help in every way possible. Flooding caused significant damage at Bradenton's Shady Brook Village. Out of 177 units, 33 were damaged. Some condos had about 2 feet of water inside. Today, management and contractors met with residents to talk about cleanup efforts and the process of getting new cabinets and flooring installed. The condos were also damaged by flooding from Tropical Storm Hermine last year. Manatee County isn't the only area dealing with flooding. People living near the Myakka River in Venice are still dealing with flooding, even though the rain has let up. The river continues to rise. Nearly 3 feet of water flooded city streets. Some homes have between 6 and 18 inches of water inside. Homeowners near the river are getting around by paddleboard, kayak, or boat. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob, is it over?
Yeah, improving conditions. Considerable drier air has moved in now, and so our rain threat and flood threat for most of the area is over. However, the rivers are still above bankful, and here's a look at some of those river forecasts and projections, not just the Myakka, but also the Manatee as well as Horse Creek. We'll check this one here in Sarasota first. Again, that flood warning is in effect along the Myakka River until Friday, 9:35. You're going to see flooding there. It should go below the flood stage at that point. Up in Manatee County at the Manatee River along the Myakka Head, that is going to go below flood stage early as tomorrow afternoon, so that's a good sign right there. And again, the Horse Creek near Arcadia expected to drop below flood stage at 9:35 as well on Friday. And the Peace River flood warning is going on right now. They're seeing some minor flooding problems there again. There are having some issues along those rivers along the SUNCOAST. Now for us, we are looking at basically some much drier air pushing on in, not as many showers and storms here, although look at Pinellas County, we're starting to see some action there, and notice the activity just west of Manatee County. So we'll keep a slight chance for a few passing showers in the mix. You can see some activity again developing right there to the west of Venice. Also this activity in parallel with Sarasota County right now. Pinellas County getting some rainfall and some heavier showers to the northwest of that. The basic dry air is in place right now, and it looks like it will stay that way. It's official now. Harvey has dropped 50 inches plus of rain just to the east of Houston into Highlands, Texas, right there. 51.88 inches of rainfall into just east of Houston. Just amazing. At the airport of Houston, over 30 inches of rainfall just at the airport in Houston. A lot of folks have been there before. It's just incomprehensible as to how much rain has fallen. Some
people thought that the prediction of 50 inches, the computer models may be wrong, but they were in fact right.
Right. Amazing.
Right. Thanks a lot, Bob. Startling numbers tonight from Sarasota Memorial Hospital on babies born addicted to opioids. The babies are addicted because their mothers are users. In 2016, Sarasota Memorial cared for 127 babies dealing with withdrawal, up from 98 in 2014. The babies show symptoms of withdrawal within 24 hours of birth. Planned Parenthood says it encourages users to use some sort of birth control, and for those already pregnant, to get treatment. A busy couple of days for homicide investigators in both Manatee and Sarasota counties. Manatee Sheriff's deputies say they found the body of 20-year-old Corey Iwanski inside a car behind a plaza on 53rd Avenue East in Bradenton. Foul play is suspected. Deputies say Iwanski was last seen by his mother on Saturday. Investigators are waiting for the results of an autopsy. In Sarasota, police are investigating a suspicious death. The body of a man was found at 22nd Street and Palmadelia Avenue last night around 9 o'clock. Police say they are still trying to identify the victim. They have not released any information about a suspect or a motive. If you have any information, you're asked to call Sarasota Police. The Confederate monument in Bradenton may be gone for now, but the battle isn't over. A citizens coalition is trying to pressure Manatee County commissioners to, quote, do the right thing and re-erect the monument. They are calling for commissioners' recent vote to remove the monument from in front of the courthouse in Bradenton scandalous, unacceptable, and disrespectful to American veterans.
Florida is not going to be bullied by Black Lives Matter, the Uhuru movement, Antifa, and anarchists. That's not who we are. Our state is too great to accept all that hate.
The petition also calls for the resignations of some commissioners and asks state lawmakers to protect all Confederate monuments throughout the state. Still to come, President Trump's plans to crack down on legal immigration in the United States. Stay with us.
It's rainy season on the SUNCOAST. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When there's the potential for severe weather, you need to know fast. Trust ABC7 First Alert Weather to get you the information you need right away. We focus on the storms that impact where you live, and we're committed to alerting you with important information as soon as we get it. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the SUNCOAST.
We've been debating the issue of illegal immigration for years now. President Trump now wants to cut down on legal immigration. It is controversial because, as Jacqueline Matter tells us, under the president's plan, a lot of our parents and grandparents would have been excluded from coming into the country.
President Trump unveiling a much-awaited plan on the nation's immigration system earlier this month by placing people with certain skills at the front of the line while pushing others to the back.
This is a move in the right direction. It's fundamentally changing our immigration process, our legal immigration process, which is badly needed.
I think something has to be done to balance out, to help the economy.
I think it weakens us more than it strengthens us.
In an effort to cut legal immigration in half by 2027, President Donald Trump's new proposal would mean a massive reduction in legal immigration and cut a policy that aims to keep families together. The proposal will limit who could be sponsored for immigration to immediate family members. It would end the diversity visa lottery program, and it would cap permanent resident status for refugees to $50,000 a year. For Sarasota Republican State Committeeman Christian Ziegler, he thinks this new plan is just what America needs.
For years, I've been saying that we need to move to a merit-based immigration system. Everything he's put in his proposal makes a lot of sense. I think this is a great first step. It's really common sense. And so I encourage him, let's pass this.
Opponents were sharply critical of the proposal, however, saying it would cut jobs and hurt our economy.
Reduce the number of lower skilled workers that are coming to the country that certain types of industries rely upon.
Called the Reforming American Immigration for Strong Employment Act, or RAISE Act, the bill would only allow spouses and minor children to apply for green card status and focus on a merit-based application to limit the immigrant pool. It favors people between the ages of 26 and 30 with a doctorate, high English proficiency, and a job offer with a high salary. Applicants would need at least 30 points to be eligible for a visa under the proposal, and the fastest way to get there is to have a Nobel Prize or comparable international award.
The vast majority of Americans, if roles were reversed, would not be getting into this country under that system.
It's actually going to benefit more people that have been here, that are waiting, and that actually deserve the green card.
I think it's okay for us to put in some guidelines and some criteria that they have to meet. Even if that bar is really high, let's get the best of the best coming into our country and contributing to our society.
If enacted, the plan would reduce legal immigration to around 500,000 people a year within a decade, and both sides disagree on whether getting the plan through Congress will be difficult.
I think it needs to get passed because really when you look at immigration, it is our country's only opportunity to select our citizens.
I am very doubtful that this act would pass. I think that any immigration reform act is going to be a very, very hard sell.
I'd venture to guess that no, it will not pass in Congress, but if anything, the last year has taught me a bit of humility, so who knows.
It remains to be seen if this proposal will move forward, as Republicans hold 52 of the Senate's 100 seats, and the bill would need 60 votes to pass. Jacqueline Matter, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Coming up, good policy or just appealing to the base? We'll debate it at the Trapezoid.
Attention Sarasota and surrounding cities. After 25 years in Sarasota, Bacon's Furniture and Design will be moving to create Southwest Florida's largest and most dynamic furniture store. We must liquidate everything in the store at huge savings as fast as possible. Do not miss this opportunity to purchase quality sofas, bedrooms, dining rooms, patio furniture, mattresses, and more. All at the absolute lowest prices possible. The Bacon's Furniture and Design relocation sell-off. Nobody beats Bacon's.
This is an important medical announcement. Barred IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a barred IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Barred Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the barred IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
$40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful. That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions.
I needed to have a prescription filled and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
Welcome back. Florida Senator Marco Rubio and Texas Senator Ted Cruz will have an interesting dilemma if President Trump's immigration plan ever comes to a vote. Will they vote for a bill that would have excluded their parents from entering the U.S.? Ted Cruz's website talks about how his parents came to America from Cuba, quote, penniless and not speaking a word of English. Well, under the Trump plan, no English, no entry in the U.S. The proposal prioritizes those who not only speak English, but also have advanced skills and education. And joining us for more is Johannes Werner, the owner of the Cuba Standard, former State Representative Keith Fitzgerald, a political science professor at New College, and Christian Ziegler, Republican State Committee man for Sarasota. And Johannes, I'll start with you because you are an immigrant yourself from Germany. You're married to a woman, I believe, from Mexico?
She's Mexican-American. She's got both citizenships, and I came here with a fiancé visa.
Okay, so when the president announced this proposal several weeks ago, what was your immediate impression?
Well, my immediate reaction is it's another politician stomping on the weakest in society, trying to make political hay out of people who are already facing difficult times and who are actually net economic contributors.
Christian, I already see that you're shaking your head, but let me ask you the question that we raised off the top of this. If this became law, Marco Rubio would not be in the United States Senate and Ted Cruz wouldn't even be in the country.
Okay, and when you let off, you talked about how their parents and what their status was coming to the country or not. I'll tell you, my grandmother, she came from former Yugoslavia. My father still lives over in Serbia, so I'm well aware of what the immigration, rules were back then. I'll tell you, I mean, different times call for different rules. We've gradually increased the amount of immigration every year, legal immigration we're talking about, from 200,000 to 500,000. Now we're at a little over 1 million each year. Our country at this point, I mean, we need to be able to pay for ourselves. Our debt's through the roof. We have record national debt, and it's time to really crack down and put down rules that bring the best and the brightest into our country. I mean, it's not our job in the U.S. to really take care of the world and pay the bills and give everyone in the world an opportunity. It's our job to look after our citizens, and legal immigration is our only opportunity to hand select who is allowed into our country.
And you say that even though if this law was in effect, you wouldn't be here.
I do say that because, look, there's different generations, Alan. I mean, we look back, and when our grandparents came here, came through Ellis Island and through the legal process, at least my ancestors did. When they came through here, we had a different country at the time. Our debt was not where it was. Our welfare state wasn't established like it is now. And we just can't open the doors, and you have to have some criteria. And to be honest, now looking at this criteria, it makes a lot of sense to go to a merit versus some lottery or some family criteria. So I think it's a great plan.
Keith, over time, there has been an ebb and flow in the number of immigrants that the U.S. has allowed into the country. Is it, as Christian would suggest, time to basically raise the bar or close the door a little bit so we can take care of ourselves?
I got to say, I find the whole conversation a little bit silly because it doesn't attend to the details of the bill in any realistic way. We've let in roughly around 1 million people for quite some time. The people that this bill will affect are the people who come in who are very close relatives of immigrants who have come already. So you're talking about the adult children of an American citizen, the grandparents or the parents of an American citizen. So first of all, it's not a crackdown on anything. These are legal people. Second, it's not going to have a gigantic impact on any kind of labor market because under this law, you cannot qualify for these categories unless you have a sponsor who will say, we will take care of this person so they'll never be on public assistance.
All right, so the question is, if it's not going to have real impact on the bottom line, what is at play here? And we are just getting warmed up with our conversation. We'll have much more right after we check First Alert Weather, so stay with us.
Attention! Royal Seas Cruises has just announced their deal of the day, a $99 Caribbean cruise for 2 people. This amazing cruise deal to the Bahamas is only available to the first 500 callers who register in your area today. So get ready to write down this number and act fast. We know that the best type of traveler is a repeat guest, so we're offering this $99 Caribbean cruise to prove it. That's $99 per couple, including your stateroom, all your delicious meals, full spa, live entertainment, 3 kids clubs, and more. Come see why we were voted one of the top 10 best overall cruises by Cruise Critic. We're so sure you'll enjoy yourself and become a repeat customer that you're getting this deal of the day for the unbelievable low price of just $99 per couple. But you've got to act fast. Pick up the phone and be one of the first 500 callers to take the Caribbean cruise of a lifetime for just $99 per couple. Call right now or log on to royalcruisenow.com.
Call 800-906-0489.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-800-558-8779.
Florida's coral reefs are declining. Bad news for our oceans and marine life. Fortunately, you can help, and you don't have to dive, you just have to drive. When you purchase Moat's Protect Our Reefs license plate, $25 goes directly to Moat Marine Laboratory, whose research, restoration, and conservation programs are helping this precious natural resource thrive once again. So get your Moat Protect Our Reefs license plate today. You just might hold the key to saving Florida's reefs.
Our conversation on cutting legal immigration continues in a moment, right after we check First Alert forecast with meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
The pictures that were around town is over 16 inches of rainfall. This is from Venice. Rob Duncan getting this shot right there, as you can see, of the pool that he had. That pool, again, causing a lot of problems with that heavy rainfall, and it looks like it will continue to be rather dry here. So we are looking at a little bit better condition on Wednesday as some drier air starts to slip on in, and we actually get away from this heavy rainfall event. So again, the viewer photos, appreciate them all coming in to mysuncoast.com, as well as pics at mysuncoast.com. And a real webcam showing some clouds on the increase. Looking off into the Gulf of Mexico, we are starting to see a little bit more cloudiness around and a few showers too. And it looks like we could get a little rainfall. A few showers are possible, just a little bit here. It's official now. The National Weather Service has said that nearly 52 inches of rainfall, that's our entire year's rainfall, has fallen now just east of Houston. 52 inches officially now just to the east of Houston, near Highlands, Texas, and this historic storm continues to move off to the northeast. However, the center is still over water. You can see that little jog now off toward the northeast as it makes its way off toward Louisiana. Some heavy flooding there. You see these little tornado symbols. There's already been 150 Doppler indicated tornadoes during this event. So this has just been an incredible storm. Harvey causing devastation and catastrophic flooding. Notice the rainfall here just to the west and north of Manatee County. A few showers popping up here west of Venice, and it looks as though these are going to be rather light. They shouldn't be all that intense for a long duration. They are moving off to the east right now. Some really dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but just enough push from one of the bands actually now moving through the panhandle of Florida, associated indirectly with Harvey, making its way in our direction. That low pressure area has really shifted to the north, but this is just some outflow from that band now moving toward the panhandle of Florida. Some pretty heavy rainfall there, though, entering in toward MacDill Air Force Base. One lone shower east of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. And the dry air I mentioned, you can see it on the scale here. Very dry air has moved in across South Florida, stretching all the way up into Sarasota. But with all that activity as far as Harvey is concerned, some of the outflow creating a few showers. 86 degrees right now. Dew point is way up there. It's warm, it's muggy, and the pressure 2997. The high today was 1 degree above the average, or 1 degree below the average, I should say. And the monthly rainfall total at 20.95. We are 12 inches plus above average for the month. And the forecast tomorrow calling for generally sunny skies with little chance for rainfall as we move through the afternoon. And Futurecast indicating that quite clearly. We're looking at a nice day tomorrow. Wednesday, lots of sunshine around. For boaters, winds will be out of the southeast, turning to the southwest at 10 knots. A light chop out there, and the water temperature 86 degrees. UV index will be high at 10. Next tide is a high tide at 8:59 and a low tide at 1:01. Sunset at 7:54. Mostly fair, warm and muggy. A few showers are possible through this evening. Tomorrow, though, different story. We'll see some sunshine, a lot of it, and temperatures will warm into the low 90s. That rain chance very small at 10%. The extended forecast does call for a much better chance for showers and storms on Friday, and it could be rather numerous, and with the ground saturated, flooding could become once again an issue. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Alan will be right back with his panel right after this. Stick around.
Consumer Cellular makes it easy to stay in touch with family and stay within our budget.
Now our cell phone bill is only a fraction of what it used to be.
Our average customers get everything they need for about $25 a month, and plans start at only $10 a month with no contracts.
Consumer Cellular has a great choice of phones. Check out my new one.
I picked this simple phone. I used my son's old smartphone. Kept my number, too.
Consumer Cellular has been an approved AARP provider since 2008, and members get exclusive discounts.
It's a good thing Consumer Cellular is always there, because sometimes I need a little help.
Sometimes. We're proud to have received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service among non-contract wireless providers.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of change.
We actually use change. Luckily, there are some things we can still afford.
Like Consumer Cellular.
Stop paying too much for wireless service. Switch to Consumer Cellular. And with our 30-day risk-free guarantee, it's easy. Call 1-800-920-3084. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Jacuzzi is proud to present our first ever safe bathing event. The Jacuzzi walk-in tub allows you or a loved one to take a safe and relaxing bath. Never climb in and out of a regular bathtub again. Our walk-in tub offers a low step-in threshold, fast drain technology, soothing hydrotherapy, and even a shower handle. Regain bathing independence with a Jacuzzi walk-in tub and enjoy spending more time with loved ones. Why wait any longer? During our safe bathing event, save $750 on a new walk-in tub. Receive $250 in safety upgrades and a $100 Visa gift card. But if you call right now during this program, we'll double the savings to $1,500, double the safety upgrades to $500, and double it to a $200 Visa gift card with your walk-in tub purchase. Call right now to save double on a new walk-in tub. Call now.
Tell me how the day unfolds. Traffic fast, the traffic slow. This feeling is so fine, I gotta say, you're just a touch away. You're everywhere, got you everywhere, everywhere I go. Whoa, go, everywhere I go. Whoa, everywhere I go.
It is going to be a busy month in Congress. A vote on the debt ceiling. The government has to be funded. Texas is going to need a massive hurricane relief dollars, and President Trump wants to cut legal immigration to the U.S. And joining us for more is Johannes Werner, the owner of the Cuba Standard, former State Representative Keith Fitzgerald, a political science professor at New College, and Christian Ziegler, Republican State Committee man for Sarasota. And Johannes, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to Christian and ask, what is wrong at this point in terms of these are different times and different ages than our grandparents and even you when you came into the country came here. What is wrong with trying to increase the level in terms of education and economic ability of today's immigrants?
I'm actually glad that someone brings up this issue. This is something that needs to be fixed. The United States does not put enough emphasis in getting high-skilled people into the United States. There's practically a lottery for high-skilled people, and that's not good. So I'm glad that someone is bringing up that issue. But if you do a win-lose situation, that's not good. You're going to affect families, you're going to separate families, and as Keith said, I don't think it's going to work. People are going to come anyways.
Can I say something about that? Because I think one of the things that, we can try to make this into a black, white, liberal, conservative, whatever kind of thing. I don't think that's true at all. I think a lot of people across the spectrum think that we should have more emphasis on high skills, and we should have a higher emphasis on developing the economy in certain areas. I think one of the things about this policy is that it's sort of foolish to undercut the ability of people to bring their children into the United States if you're trying to attract them to come here to get a job. So it's not so much that in principle I think it's an awful idea. I think it just oversteers.
Christian, let me give you a chance.
Yeah, so I do agree with you with the high skilled, and we need to focus on really fixing that. But the question is, I mean, you're talking about the give or take. You have to. Where do we set the limit? I mean, how do we set this limit? Do you support just opening the doors and allowing 7 billion people in this world to flood into the United States? I mean, we are the most desired country in the entire world. Everyone wants to come here, and it's okay for us to pick and choose who's allowed in.
Christian, there are 675,000 people a year who are close family members who are allowed in now. We're not throwing open the doors to 7 billion people. But that's just ridiculous.
But Keith, I mean, when you look at this, it's not just, I mean, it's easy to say, oh, their child or their brother and sister, but when you look at chain migration, it goes deeper than that. Cousins, they just keep going down the line, and we can't just allow.
Who is they?
The government. The government has a strict criteria. When you go down it,
We've had the same criteria since 1965. They haven't changed.
Which is when they went to chain migration, and that's what Donald Trump's putting into. Absolutely.
Christian,
and when you look at this,
honestly,
Keith, hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. So when you look at this, they have a criteria based on brothers and sisters get certain points. You start going down that, which is fine, and some people agree with that, right? With that system, which is fine. But what Donald Trump is doing is he's changing from a chain migration system, a focus on that, a focus on a diversity lottery, which makes no sense that we're just pulling names out of a hat.
Christian,
and he's going to high-skilled, highly educated individuals that can come here and stand on their own.
I wrote my doctoral dissertation on immigration policy precisely because it was not a simple black-white issue. It didn't cut across ideological, partisan grounds all the way back to the 19th century. You're using the term chain migration in a completely nonsensical form. That is a specific word which has a specific meaning. And honestly, Christian, you don't know what it means.
You're absolutely incorrect. I appreciate the liberal professor.
You just don't know what the word means.
That's not true.
Let me get a question in here. I'm looking at a list here, Christian. John McCain, Marco Rubio, Jeff Flake, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Ted Cruz. It's hard to believe that any or any number of them would be voting for legislation like this. If it's so unlikely that this proposal could actually become law, what's the intention? I mean, it's been speculated about that the intention here was to appeal to the base, because the president, in terms of his approval numbers right now, is not doing that well, and you got to keep that base loyal to him.
There are a lot of people, when you look at middle America, that are concerned with immigration. Their jobs are being taken, they're concerned with that. You have high-skilled people that should be allowed in, they're having trouble. And really, to go back to Keith, I mean, Keith, it's fine that you sit at your university and you're doing these studies and you're doing these papers. I will tell you, my family, my brother, my half-brother lives in Serbia. He's in med school. He would like to come over to this country. And I don't believe that it's fair that we put people forward because of a lottery, or just because, we allow people that are in this diversity lottery, which is like crazy, or someone's cousin to come in before him, who would come here, go to med school, be a doctor, and be a contributing member of society.
You're yelling, Christian. Listen,
no, I'm just making my point, Keith.
Diversity, 75,000 people a year. I'm happy if you want to do away with it. Second, we already agree that we should be letting more doctors and engineers, so there's not even a disagreement. I think that Alan is making a point that if you really know what this bill does, it doesn't do much. And my position and Ioannis's position are closer to Marco Rubio's position. So, you know, why would you bring this thing up? And I think it's to excite nativist tendencies, and that's a shame. We should be trying to unite people, not divide them. We should be looking at
Keith,
problems
we have
like,
to look out for our own country. It's time to do that.
We are looking out for
No, we aren't looking out for our own country.
You know,
We're
would
talking
you
about
stop
just allowing
yelling at
everyone
me?
in. Okay. We are not
Stop
looking out for our own country.
yelling at me. You're a very rude young man. Can you dishonor your parents? by your rude
Gentlemen,
behavior?
all right, let's pause on it. Johannes, I want to ask you this question because I remember a couple of years ago, there were a lot of people in the Hispanic community who became ambivalent in terms of the electoral process because they were disappointed that Barack Obama did not do all the things that he promised to do, and they took a pass at the midterms, they took a pass at the presidential election, and here, you know, voting matters. What would you say to that community in terms of where we are now and what the lesson is here?
To tell you the truth, it's hard to motivate people, Hispanics, to go vote because to them Obama was the deporter in chief. That's one of the reasons for staying away from elections. What I can tell them is that it can get much worse than it already is. Essentially, if we prohibit family reunion or if we restrict it severely, there's going to be more underground migration. More underground migration means less rights. It means more exposure to the whatever could happen tomorrow. And it means just less contribution to this economy. So if they vote, they could steer this country back to a sane immigration policy, and they could give an answer to people who always assume that we immigrants, are just freeloaders who are not contributing to this economy.
Well, I mean, do you
Quite
see
the contrary.
any energy in that community or other communities concerned about these issues in terms of whether we're talking about the midterms or what's going to happen in 4 years? Because there was not a lot of energy there last time.
It depends on the candidates. At this point, I don't see a lot of energy. Yes.
Christian, let me ask you about Johannes's point that if you're talking about separating families, that his point is that you may open up more of what has been coming down in terms of illegal immigration. You could say that the president's rhetoric over the last 7 months has slowed border crossings. The fact is that the border crossings were slowing before that. But if this became law, wouldn't you have a lot of impetus for family members who don't get in to come in illegally?
Well, and I don't think that we should be basing our laws based on how criminals will respond to them, first of all. Second, I actually believe that when you address legal immigration, we also need to address illegal immigration, and that goes to shutting down that border and preventing that, you know, that effect from happening.
Keith, let me give you the last word.
I don't disagree, but we need to do it.
You know, I think that what we really need to do is try to take a sane approach to this thing. Everybody knows immigration policy is broken, including the unsanctioned immigration. That's not a good situation. We really need to address this. This particular measure, it doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't really address any particular issue. It doesn't solve anything. And I'm with Marco and John McCain on this one. I think that we need comprehensive, sensible policy that unites people and doesn't divide people.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll have final thoughts when we return.
Attention blood thinner users. If your loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. The widely prescribed blood thinners Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to a number of dangerous side effects, including internal bleeding, gastrointestinal bleeding, kidney bleeding, stroke, brain hemorrhaging, and even death. If you or a loved one suffered any of these injuries after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call right now. You may be owed significant compensation from the manufacturer. Thousands of blood thinner users may have been exposed to serious risk by these dangerous medications. If you or a loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered serious internal bleeding, call right now. Call Nightline Legal to speak with an experienced attorney for a free consultation. If we don't win, there is no fee. There are time deadlines to file a claim, so don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-554-3987. Again, that's 1-800-554-3987.
Attention Sarasota and surrounding cities. After 25 years in Sarasota, Bacon's Furniture and Design will be moving to create Southwest Florida's largest and most dynamic furniture store. We must liquidate everything in the store at huge savings as fast as possible. Do not miss this opportunity to purchase quality sofas, bedrooms, dining rooms, patio furniture, mattresses, and more. All at the absolute lowest prices possible. The Bacon's Furniture and Design relocation sell-off. Nobody beats Bacon's.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the ABC7 First Alert Hurricane Guide. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the SUNCOAST, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with your pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the ABC7 First Alert Hurricane Guide. Brought to you by Batteries Plus, the Florida Lottery, and Sarasota Glass and Mirror.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Welcome back. President Trump plans to cut immigration in half by 2027. Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So, Johannes, you take a look at this bill, and obviously you see there is merit to raising the bar in terms of people who are accomplished coming into this country. Any predictions in terms of whether you think that this bill is going to go anywhere?
I'm not the political expert in terms of U.S. policy, but I don't think that big business interests will let this pass.
Keith, you are the political expert on this panel, and you do say some merit in terms of raising the bar in terms of the immigrants who are coming into the country. But do you think that the president's motivation was immigration policy or domestic politics?
Well, I don't think this bill's ever going to come to the floor for the reason Johannes just said. The chamber hates it. I think it is a political move, and I think it gives you an indication of what's broken with our politics. We should be less divisive and more constructive. This is a policy that we all know is broken. We can't make any progress in it as long as people are just playing political games with it, and I think that's what the president is doing here.
Christian, I know how you feel about this, but would you acknowledge that there was any politics in play here?
Well, I think that you can say, are politics in play, or is he just delivering based on what he campaigned on and what the American people elected him on?
I don't remember him campaigning on cutting legal immigration.
You're saying cutting legal immigration, that's how you're phrasing it, but what he's actually doing is he's putting criteria in going forward for legal immigration. So he did actually campaign on a merit-based system, which is exactly what this does. Now, the limits, obviously those change. Those go up and down based on the years, and that's traditionally and historically been done.
All right,
so
we have to leave it there. But before we go, last year, Florida voters voted overwhelmingly to make medical marijuana legal. Last night, we reported that public schools are struggling with what to do, while some school districts say medical marijuana will be administered to students just like any other medication as long as they have a prescription. Other school departments still have no idea what to do. One reason, under federal law, marijuana, whether it is being prescribed by a doctor or not, is still illegal federally. We asked you on Facebook about your thoughts, and Tracy says if they need to take it at school, it should be there as same as any other prescribed medication. Nate adds, if the kids need medicine, then give it to them. Stop with the foot dragging. And from Vanessa, it is prescribed medicine. Handle it like the rest of the prescribed medicine. Duh. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com ABC7. And coming up, if you can watch past roundtable discussions, they're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. Johannes Warner is the owner of the Cuba Standard. Former State Representative Keith Fitzgerald is a political science professor at New College, and Christian Ziegler is the Republican State Committee man for Sarasota. When we return, we'll have For Your Benefit. You want to help with hurricane relief? Great. But don't get ripped off doing so. Plus, President Trump in Texas today to witness firsthand the damage done by Hurricane Harvey.
Glasses and contacts. You need them to see, but they put such a strain on your life. Due to new advances in vision improvement technology, LASIK is now affordable for almost everyone, with procedures starting as low as $299 per eye. And over 1 million procedures performed by our trusted independent surgeons. LASIK surgery is a sensible, safe, and affordable solution to improve your vision. So call now to talk to a LASIK Vision Institute counselor and schedule your free evaluation.
1-800-813-0109. 40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful.
That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions.
I needed to have a prescription filled and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
Looking for something fun to do on a Friday night? Then come to Music on Main, the first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Enjoy free live music, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Meet up with friends, enjoy activities for the kids, or make it a special date night. And be sure to stop by the ABC7 booth and say hello. Mark your calendars for Music on Main, first Friday of the month, 6 to 9 at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by ABC7 and these sponsors.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but first, you can't watch what is happening in Houston not be affected. You want to help, and that's great, but sometimes no good deed goes unpunished, and we are joined right now by Jerry Zivick, our ABC7 consumer watchdog. And Jerry, I mean, everyone who is watching this wants to know what they can do, but we have seen this with every natural disaster for years now, that there are people out there who are trying to take advantage of people who are trying to help out. What are you hearing and what are you seeing in terms of times like this?
Well, great natural disasters are great times for fraud scammers, and this is no exception. Before I came on air today, I did a little research on domain names, and I found over 100 domain names that included Hurricane Harvey somehow. And when you have a new domain name and a new charity, there's no track record to know whether or not this will be a good charity.
So really the question is, if you want to help and you want to contribute to something in some way, what should you do?
Well, you should treat this like any charity. You have to do your own due diligence to make sure there's a track record here, to make sure there's no complaints that have been filed against the charity. Call the Attorney General, call the Better Business Bureau, check Charity Navigator. You want your hard-earned dollars to do good. You don't want somebody to take them.
But let me ask you this question. We're about to report that, for instance, an NFL star has started a fund. It's a new fund for hurricane relief. Obviously, there's been no time to register anything.
Well, and you should hold back. There's nothing wrong with wanting to support it, but there are enough other funds available from charities that have been in existence for a while that you can wait and see what's going to happen to this charity.
Do's and don'ts in terms of if you want to make a financial contribution right now.
Don't believe what you get on social media. If you get a link, don't click on it. Go to the website itself. Don't ever give out your personal information, your checking account information, or your charge information. Deal directly with the website. Probably the safest thing for anybody to do is to write a check.
And there are other things also, including don't wire money.
Once you wire money, it's gone. It's, it's in cyberspace and it's going to who knows where. So you just don't know what to do about that. And never send cash either.
And also, should you try to focus in terms of what you're trying to accomplish in terms of looking at designating a particular fund or charity that you want to contribute to?
Sure. If you're donating money to the Red Cross, you want to say, earmark this money for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. Otherwise, who knows where it's going to do. In theory, it should do good anywhere, but if you're donating for that purpose, tell them that you're donating for that purpose.
Okay. All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Jerry joins us every other week on Tuesday for Your Benefit segment. Stay tuned. Our primetime headlines are next. Stay with us.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-800-558-8779.
It's rainy season on the SUNCOAST. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When there's the potential for severe weather, you need to know fast. Trust ABC7 First Alert Weather to get you the information you need right away. We focus on the storms that impact where you live, and we're committed to alerting you with important information as soon as we get it. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Checking our primetime headlines, no relief for southeast Texas. While Louisiana now braces for Harvey's wind and rain, the storm continues to dump rain on saturated Houston area where thousands of rescues have taken place and many more to go. Meanwhile, President Trump got a first-hand view of the storm's wrath. Kristen Holmes has more.
Harrowing stories.
He went out and kayaked through the rising waters and he went and got help.
The boat was small, so they have to take the kids and women first. And they said they came back for us. They coming back for us, but they never did.
Amid Houston floodwaters, thousands of rescues, but a city still trying to keep up.
Don't give up on us. Seek the higher ground. We will get to you.
Harvey's soaking rain is setting records for the continental U.S. South of Houston in Brazoria County, a dire alert. The Columbia Lakes community was part of a mandatory evacuation on Sunday, but to anyone left, officials warned, get out after a levee breached.
The biggest concern is the few folks that may have disregarded our warnings, and we don't want anybody hurt.
President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump arrived in Corpus Christi, slammed by Harvey's landfall on Friday, for a first-hand look and to praise ongoing cooperation.
It's a real team, and we want to do it better than ever before.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon said the number of National Guard troops in Texas is going to rise, and they plan for a long effort.
We will be doing life-saving and life-sustaining efforts for a much longer period due to the nature of this storm.
News today, Houston police sergeant died on Sunday while on his way to work. The 30-year-old officer was heading to work Sunday when he became trapped in high water on Interstate 45 in North Harris County and could not get himself out of his car. Drivers resumed their search this morning and found Sergeant Steve Perez. One of Houston's top NFL stars is stepping up to help raise money for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. Houston Texans defensive end J.J. Watts launching a flood relief fund on the crowdfunding site YouCaring. Already over $1.5 million has been raised. According to
give you an update, we just passed the $1 million mark, which is phenomenal. $5 here, $10 there. It's just donations from all over. It's so crazy to watch. So thank you guys.
Now, according to Watts' Twitter, $3.25 million has been raised, and the new goal is $4 million. News today, a Houston police sergeant died on Sunday while on his way to work. The 30-year officer was heading to work on Sunday when he became trapped in the high water on Interstate 45 in North Harris County and could not get himself out of the car.
We couldn't find him, and once our dive team got there, it was too treacherous to go under and look for him.
Divers resumed their search this morning and found Sergeant Steve Perez. President Trump is warning all options are on the table after North Korea fired a missile over Japan early Tuesday. Trump hasn't elaborated on what that means, but one of the president's top diplomats is looking to bring the world together to crack down on North Korea. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley expressed her displeasure.
I think we have a lot to talk about today, and so with all of our partners, what we hope is that China and Russia continues to work with us like they have in the past on North Korea, but I think enough is enough.
The UN Security Council announced it will hold an emergency meeting on the missile launch. A couple of weeks ago, a Florida Highway Patrol major resigned after reports he was telling his troopers to write more tickets. Now another high-ranking state trooper is out reportedly doing the same. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Thomas, who had been with the Highway Patrol for 30 years, resigned after an email written in May came to light, encouraging troopers to write 2 tickets an hour. In his resignation letter, Thomas said the email was a grave error. Top state officials have insisted that ticket quotas are not allowed. And finally tonight, at Tropicana Field, your Houston Astros. The Rays are out of town this week. The Houston Astros need a home with their city underwater. So for the next 3 nights, it is the Astros versus the Texas Rangers. There is also a chance the Astros will host the New York Mets at the Trop this weekend. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.